We are here.
We are here. There we are.
Did we hit all the buttons?
I think we did. Somehow I
hear
muted us, and then on that part we went from one to the other. But yeah, we are here. It is second cup of coffee. Jacob's here. Hey, Jacob.
Hi, Jacob.
Good morning and good afternoon, and whatever else we got. So yes, let's get ourselves moving. Let's get started. It is your weekend recap. All right, so we are here. Wow. Little studio action here. So change on some lighting, some stuff, some behind the scenes. We're actually here, there, and ready to do this. So yeah, it is second cup of coffee. It is your weekend recap. We're excited to get going. So book is coming out, but we've had some pre-orders, which is really exciting. So yeah,
awesome.
fitrichlife.com/book. Make it easy, fitrichlife.com/book. But yes, it is your weekend recap. It is your weekend recap, just in case you are, put a point. But that kind of maybe sums up the day. It's been right into it. Monday was not waiting for us. Monday just showed up and said, okay, let's go. So yes, we are ready to do this. It is your weekend recap. I did get it right. Only the 17th time through did we get it right. But there is no second takes when it is live with second cup of coffee. And of course, I'm Jason.
I'm Peter.
And so today, let's talk about consistency. I have been okay, not consistent.
Okay, not consistent. I think you've been pretty consistent.
Not
You're
for me.
very consistent.
I want to be better on my consistency, and that's my ode to you, my ode to myself today. So good runs. I did 10 miles Saturday, 10 miles Sunday, 7 miles today. Yeah. So, but again, right? We find reasons not to bring ourselves to be our best, right? So we want an excuse. We want everything to be easy. We want to have it happen for us. And my complacency has showed in myself. And on that part, I'm here to say that it's my moment where I need to give myself that next kick today to put myself back in line. And that's okay, right? We have to call ourselves out, because it comes down lots of times, especially when we have an opinion on something, is that we assume if we have an opinion on something, that's the tried and true end all statement, right? So, I believe this, or I can't do this because of this. And you will not, or I will not hear another opinion of such, because I assume that my opinion is coming from my knowledge of the subject, right? But I haven't been open to hear all points. So how can I actually know if my opinion's right? And this gets into the point I was reading something about high-level thinking and low-level thinking. And the difference between the two is basically that the low-level thinking, as you can imagine, is emotional, right? We're making decisions, or we're saying stuff or doing stuff based on emotional responses. And think about it. Think about how many times you've seen arguments or points be made or decisions based on emotional, right? And now let's look at high level. High level is strategic, objectional, open-minded, actionable ideas or thinking, right? And so the difference would be that, let's take diet, for instance. So you are keeping to a certain eating pattern, and you come to any kind of restaurant and emotionally cookies smell great. So your emotional takes over and you want to have a cookie. But your strategic thinking goes, well, what is that cookie going to do to me, right? So your emotional context is everybody at the table orders a cookie, and you order a cookie because that's your low-level thinking that, oh, this would be great. It won't matter, just one. But your emotional thinking, well, that's taken over. Where your high-level thinking may be, well, what do I need this cookie for? Do I need this cookie? I'm going to have to do so many exercises, so much working out, or it's going to derail me from 2 months of not eating cookies, or you fill in the blank, right? But that goes into business too. Lots of times we may get pushed into a poor decision because someone's putting pressure on us or something's squeezing us. And I always push back on insurance companies, because they're always one that insurance companies on renewals wait for the last possible second to send you your quote. So you almost have no time to react, and they always say you can't get the quotes earlier, right? So their point is they're going to emotionally push you where you're on a deadline, right? And there's so many things where you're on a deadline, so you have to make a choice that's maybe not what you would seem optimal until you step back and say, okay, well, I'm going to take as much time as I need. I'm going to make sure I have what's in order to be in place, but I need to make the right decision to make sure I'm covered correctly. That makes sense?
It makes complete sense. I mean, so many arguments. So whether it is within a relationship, whether it's within a business, whether it's, you know where I'm going with this. Usually those things start because of an emotional reaction to it. So yes, take that emotion and use it as just a placeholder or like one section of the decision that you need to make. Then you look at the facts. You look at your emotion, because I don't actually think emotional thinking is low level thinking. Yes, it is one tier of how you should make a decision. To base it all on that one tier is to not get all the information. After that emotional response happens, then you start to look at the facts. Then you start to look at the historical knowledge. Then you start to look at books and make the decision based on all the information, not just the one tier. If that makes, and this is for all of you who are just like, who are more on the emotional side, like I am, who are just like, wait a minute, emotion is low level. No, it's not. It's just one of the levels that you can think at. You can think emotionally, but you also have to think with your mind. You can think with your heart. You can think with your mind. You can think with your soul. There's so many levels that you can think on and make decisions on, but don't just base it on the emotion. We were talking about consistency. So for my little take on consistency, I actually haven't been consistent. I was really consistent in this latest fitness program that we're doing, waking up at 4:30 every morning for the first, like, I would say 2 or 3 weeks. And then it started to taper off. I started to wake up at 5:30, 6 o'clock, and it would just go all over the place depending on what time I fell asleep. So last night I was like, you know what? Forget this. Apple came up with this new, like, fancy way to put bedtime, and what then it like puts you to sleep. It's crazy. So I enacted that, and I set my bedtime. I set my wake up time for 5 o'clock instead of 4:30. I'm giving myself that half an hour, because obviously something's telling me, my body's response is telling me that I need just a little bit more sleep. Woke up like 2 minutes before 5 this morning, felt refreshed, felt great. So if you're finding that you're not consistent in something, maybe you have to take a good look at what that something is. And maybe, just maybe, you need to change that something. Maybe it's not you. Maybe it's that thing you're trying to do, trying to be consistent at.
So today, look at your perspective. Look at how your decisions are being made, and if you're allowing yourself to use your best thought or your irrational thought. And on that front, sometimes it has a point where irrational needs to be asserted just so you can see the opposite, but make sure your decisions aren't highly based on you just acting without really giving the context to why you're acting. All right, that's what we got today. It's weekend recap. Again, Jacob just got out and got his book pre-ordered. Thank you so much. fitrichlife.com/book. Make it easy. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, everyone there. And yes, Jacob, always making a point to feel the emotion and then remove myself from the emotion to look at things objectively and make the best decision. Well said, Jacob. Thank you, man. That actually puts everything into context.
Yes, it does.
So see you guys tomorrow. Are you hitting buttons or am I hitting buttons?
I'm hitting buttons.
We need to have that third hand that comes in to hit buttons. We'll get there.